So those were our top headlines. Now let's get straight to the big debate of the day. It's hashtag Pune versus Hyderabad. Which is the better investment option? On one side, we have a city which is considered as one of the few strong real estate markets in the country. On the other side, we have a city which is slowly coming back to the limelight thanks to the recent political stability in the state. Which is it going to be? Stable Pune or shining Hyderabad? That's what we will find out. And to help us answer that all-important question, we have with us two very special guests. Amit Goenka, Chief Executive of Nisus Financial Services, joining us here in our Magicbricks Now studios. And we have Trivita Roy, Associate Director, Research and Real Estate Intelligence Service at JLL-India. Trivita and Amit, thank you so much for being with us here on the Urban Debate. But what we're also going to do is open up the phone lines for you, which is flashing at the bottom of your screens. If you have any opinions or queries, you can reach out to us on this number. So let's get straight into it. Pune or Hyderabad? Amit, I'm going to kickstart this with you. Your opening comments on this big debate.
Well, I wish I could have said Hyderabad after a span of almost 8 years of waiting for the city to happen, but unfortunately, I'll have to continue to stick with Pune at the present moment, given that there is a lot of volatility any which ways in the larger real estate market, and I wouldn't want to be so daredevil right now to go out and venture into Hyderabad just yet, so I will stick with Pune for now.
All right, so it is Pune as far as Amit Goenka is concerned. Trivita, your opening comments, Pune or Hyderabad?
Well, I would go for Hyderabad. Hyderabad has long time not seen the limelight. But of late, yes, the city is bucking up and we see a lot of activity happening in the city. Pune has been a stable city and it is, I think, still continuing to be stable. But yes, Hyderabad is coming back to limelight. The office market is strengthening, retail is strengthening. At the same time, residential is also strengthening up. And the kind of activity that I've seen in Hyderabad in last 6 months, I haven't seen that kind of activity in last 3 years in that city. Right. So definitely the city is coming back to action.
All right, so we have both our special guests making their opening comments. So let's open this debate up. Amit, I'm going to start with you. Pune is that stable market which has been preferred for a very, very long time. But, off late, say in the last 33 months, demand has outstripped supply, which basically means that we're looking at rentals going up, and Pune will not be that affordable, lesser priced destination for real estate. So it's going to be pretty difficult for Pune going forward from here on, right?
Well, I can't deny the fact that Pune is not as cheap, and it's not the retirement city or even the education city that it was maybe 3 or 4 decades ago. Pune has definitely transformed itself into a new, more upbeat, more urban, more chic and young city. Yes. With a younger diaspora, with a younger population, especially because of the IT sector, because of manufacturing and so many other allied industries which have made their inroads into Pune. Having said that, therefore, obviously the net wealth of the city and its citizens have also tremendously gone up in the last decade and a half. So clearly the property prices and the allied services have also gone up accordingly.
Office rentals have also gone up, Amit, over there. So for companies looking to invest in Pune, it is not the better destination anymore, considering the fact that the primary reason why people went to Pune was because rentals weren't all that high.
Well, I can't say it's as cheap as it is in Hyderabad, but it is certainly comparable to, let's say, the outskirts of Mumbai, beyond Panvel, or even comparable to a lot of locations, or rather most locations of Bangalore, I would say. And given that both are essentially IT hubs, I would still think that Pune becomes a far better choice, given that it has a strong supply of manpower and skills right within its vicinity, within its folds, which typically Hyderabad does not enjoy or has not enjoyed so far.
All right, Amit, on that note, I'm going to toss it back to Trivita over there. Trivita, technically Pune is already one up because of the smart city bid in the scheme of things, and Hyderabad, ever since the Telangana issue got sorted, is sort of turning its way back, and from all the downfall it's witnessed over the last several years due to the instability in the region. It's an IPL match going on over here between Pune and Hyderabad. How would you back that up? Amit just gave a very convincing answer as to why, despite rentals going up, despite Pune not being as cheap as before, it is still a very attractive destination. What does Hyderabad have to say?
Well, I would...
Trivita, I'm just going to Trivita.
Well, to talk about this, yeah. What I was trying to say is that, yes, Hyderabad, definitely see, as I said, Pune being very close to Mumbai, it definitely had its strengths and it continues to have its strength. But when you talk about Hyderabad, if you look at Hyderabad, last 8 years or 7 years, the Hyderabad city has seen a total slowdown. If you just look back to 2007 and 8, Hyderabad was one of the cities which was running on one of the best investment destinations. It was one city where it opened up gates to everybody with a unlimited FSI option. And the government was super proactive, doing amazing infrastructure. So when you look at Hyderabad, those 8 years, it just slowed down because of the GFC and continued by the political turmoil that the city has seen. Somehow the city had to just, it was not getting that kind of a mileage which it had to get. But the city at the same time did not slow down as such. If you see, Hyderabad continued to see absorptions. Of course, we did not see a lot of newcomers coming into the city, because outside everywhere, if anybody who is sitting across US or in any other destination who is planning to set up an office in India would definitely look at Hyderabad as a last priority, because the city was in that kind of a situation. But other companies who have been in Hyderabad continued to expand. If you see Accenture, Cognizant, they strongly expanded in the city despite of those bad years going on across. So 2010 was the year when Facebook and JPMC came, when it was amidst the political turmoil. And then also Essenda's, which is a investor who they have picked up an IT SEZ at the time in around 2010-11, where again the turmoil was going on. At that time, they invested in the Phoenix InfoCity IT Park. So so those kind of investment continued because people who were in Hyderabad had confidence on the city. The kind of infrastructure the city has, the kind of the manpower that the city gets, definitely the city has one of the renowned institutions there in the city. So you have IIT, you have XLRI, you have BITS Pilani. So these institutions are pumping out students. In fact, I think very little is spoken about this, but Hyderabad is one of the key research hubs of India. So if you see CCMB, NIN, NGRI, all these are stated in, they are there in Hyderabad. TIFR is in Hyderabad. So it has a lot of manpower which is available. Hyderabad University is there, which is pumping out a lot of good students. So the city definitely has the strength of manpower. Unfortunately, yes, earlier the city was not getting that kind of this thing. But in the meantime, the city actually groomed itself really well with the infrastructure in place, the kind of outer ring road.
It put its time out of the limelight to good use, is what you're trying to say, Hyderabad. And so it's, as far as infrastructure is concerned, Hyderabad is one up. We have Pune one up because it's got the smart city bid. And to add to all the names that Trivita was talking about, you have everybody from Google to Uber to Novartis to Aurobindo Pharma, all of them setting up offices in Hyderabad. In fact, Uber has its biggest call center outsourcing unit outside of the US in Hyderabad, in India. So, so Trivita, point well taken as far as Hyderabad going one up. Pune, let's come to Pune. Amit, I wanted to ask you this right at the beginning of this debate only. For all the steady momentum as far as the Pune real estate market is concerned, if you take a look at it, absorption has outstripped supply. And more importantly, even if you talk about the smart city war, you have a Navi Mumbai and Thane very close to Pune, also, being part of that fray as much as anybody else. So, how will Pune stand out from the onslaught of Navi Mumbai and Thane?
Well, it's a good question. A lot of people actually talk about potentially these two regions competing with Pune going forward, but I don't think really there's any debate, because it's like saying, what will happen to Mumbai, or the city limits of Mumbai if the outskirts of Mumbai and Navi Mumbai develops. So I think each market has got its own dynamics and its own DNA that it caters to. Having said that, clearly, whether Thane or Navi Mumbai or Pune end up becoming smart cities, and whether that bid is going to make a huge amount of difference in the next 5 years or 10 years only remains to be seen. Clearly, clearly, I think what today people look at is what is the social infrastructure available, what is the stability of life, of jobs, as well as of family environment in these micro markets, as well as what is the outlook of the city in terms of, especially when you look at real estate, people would like to end up investing into cities which have consistently shown appreciation and growth. True. And will continue to do that in the foreseeable future. So clearly, given that Hyderabad has fallen from its crest in a very, very large way and will take a huge amount of time potentially for it to limp back into its glory, Pune has consistently outperformed even most other major markets in the country, including Mumbai, including Bangalore, growing effectively at a CAGR of over 10% year on year. And obviously supply being reasonably large enough to cater to the entire, socio-economic segment of the buyer class. So I don't see why Pune will continue or ever have any sort of downside in terms of investor or buyer sentiments.
Well played, Amit. You were put on the back foot, but that was a very good back foot defensive block. I'm just going to take that all the way to her. Now, talk to us. You're talking about how Thane, Navi Mumbai are posing problems for Pune. You have an Amaravati coming up as well. We understand it's still a very nascent stage. It'll take a few years. But even as Hyderabad is sort of trying to come back into the limelight and turn the tide that has been against it for such a long time, Hyderabad too has competition. So why Hyderabad?
Okay, so why Hyderabad? Yes, so if you are talking about Pune pitching for a smart city, Hyderabad, I would say, is one of the smart cities in India. Look at Hyderabad, e-Seva, which was there in Hyderabad, portal where you can actually go and pay all the bills online, has been there in Hyderabad from last 7-8 years. Even when other cities haven't opened up something like that, Hyderabad was having it. So people did not have to stand in a queue to pay the electricity bills. They did not have to stand in a queue at a different office. So they didn't have to hop to 10 different offices to pay their bills. They would just go to one e-Seva center, pay their water bill, property tax, electricity bill, and it is sorted. Similarly, look at the infrastructure that the city has, the outer ring road, the international airport. I mean, those things are commendable when you look at the city in terms of the kind of infrastructure the city has built and ready for its growth. And in terms of, if you're talking about appreciation, yes, Hyderabad was not being preferred because of all the reasons that were going on. Any city which sees a political turmoil definitely is not there in the investors' radar for some time because, yes, the prices will not rise. But now the turmoil is cleared and now prices are increasing. From 2015, we have seen the prices rising up in Hyderabad, and consistently every new launch is coming up with a mark higher than what it was there as a market average. And also, if you talk about Hyderabad competing with Amaravati, Amaravati is a new capital, so we cannot actually compare Hyderabad with a new capital.
I'm not comparing Hyderabad with Amaravati. All I'm saying is that even as Hyderabad is on its way back, even as Hyderabad is on its way back, the problem is that now you got the state government over there, putting all its might, including the central government, putting its might into Amaravati. So if Hyderabad is going to take a few years, say a year or two, to come back to its glory days, it will find immediate competition in the form of Amaravati, which is very close by.
Okay. See, Amaravati will, it's not, if in 2 years Amaravati cannot be equivalent to Hyderabad, that even anybody can understand. And there is a support that the city is getting, definitely. But when you look at Hyderabad, you yourself said a while back, the Uber is coming up in that city. Uber is planning to open. IKEA is there coming up. So that city has its own, every city is like, it has its own personality. It grows in its own kind of dynamics. Yes, a city competes with others, compares with others. But it has its own strong economic dynamics to let the city grow. Those dynamics those engines in Hyderabad is in place. It has a IT, it has a biotech. The manufacturing is still nascent, and the city, and the government is also trying hard to bring in IT and strengthen it.
All right. So for now, let's get to the most crucial point of this entire urban debate: the home buyer. That's who we're talking about this whole thing for. Amit, talk to us about Pune. From a home buyer's perspective, how does the Pune market from here on look like?
Well, it depends upon two things. One is if you're buying for self-consumption, then it still remains a reasonable market. I wouldn't say it's the most attractive market because one will not shy away from the fact that capital values have risen reasonably tremendously in the last 2 to 3 years alone. So the average price or the weighted average price in Pune has actually gone up from about 4,100 rupees to almost 5,000 rupees a square foot in the last 2 years, which is a reasonably steep hike compared to, given the fact that no other market is actually given that kind of upside, and most have actually seen a slump. So clearly there has been a little bit of an outpricing of the market in terms of demand of the Pune market. But having said that, obviously because it's a landlocked city and it's growing in all 4 directions, and if you see also the absorption trends, you'll see it's actually 1/4 of the absorption happens almost in each direction, whether it's north, south, east or west. So it's actually very, very well spread out in all 4 directions. Therefore, there's not a great sort of concern because then there are northern markets, which are providing very affordable housing, whether it's the Pimpri, Chinchwad, Talegaon, etc. Likewise, there are the western markets of Hinjewadi, Baudhan, etc., which are also providing affordable or the sub 50 lakh housing, which is reasonably well connected. It's got all the sort of social infrastructure that one needs. It's still within Pune. It's very accessible to the heart of the city. So given all of that, I think that Pune still remains a reasonable market for buyers to buy. The most important thing is that the rental appreciation has happened in this market, which basically means that while most markets have been flat or down in terms of rental yields in Pune, especially in more influx locations like Koregaon Park or central Pune, including the eastern part of Pune, have actually gone up. Means the demand for rentals has gone up. So it's a good win-win situation, whether you're a buyer or somebody who's buying for lease. To let it out is a good opportunity for people who still get into the Pune market.
Well played, Amit. Well played. I was going to arrive at that point about rental yields. Well played, Amit. I'm going to come to Trivita on that. I'm sure you've been listening to what Amit has been talking about. In that sense, Hyderabad is still picking up. It's still like a sort of a sunrise market as far as real estate is concerned in India. Is it too soon for home buyers to venture in?
Yeah, Hyderabad has one thing strong, which is its end user demand has been strong. If you look at the numbers that Hyderabad has seen this year, Hyderabad in office space absorption, it has already hit 4 million, which is in 3 quarters, which is what it was highest in, in 2010 we have seen a 5 million and we are likely to see a 5 million this year as well. So which is going to translate into a lot of jobs, definitely. And yes, the end user demand for Hyderabad has always been driven by end user demand, and that demand will continue to be strong given that the kind of activity that the city is seeing right now, especially in terms of office space leasing, in terms of the new companies who are coming into Hyderabad. So that way the city will see its demand. And if you talk about also the prices in Hyderabad, Hyderabad definitely remains very much affordable. The price range is in between 3,000 to 5,000 in the core city, as in if you are talking about the in the western part of the city where the market is most active. And where in the city can you even get a villa for about within 60-70 lakhs or within a crore? I think Hyderabad is the place. So I think Hyderabad gives a very good quality of life.
Absolutely.
And Hyderabad definitely on that, it has an edge. And if you look at, so it gives, the kind of space, the comfort that Hyderabad city gives, it's not, it cannot be, actually argued on or commented on because,
Trivita, Amit just bowled the delivery and just hit it right out of the park. When it comes to affordability, Hyderabad definitely trumps Pune. Absolutely. But here's, so we've heard both sides of this argument right now, but I'm just going to get back to Amit right now because we're going to get specific about this. Talk to us about the locations in Pune, Amit, for viewers watching us with high rental yields as far as Pune is concerned.
Well, actually, if you look at the rental markets, I would clearly say that the north of Pune, which is basically the LIG to MIG segment, where people have typically bought as investors and have now really gone out and let it out to basically the manufacturing segment, the worker category, the LIG and the MIG segment of population, which includes the Pimpri, the Chinchwad, the Talegaon, the Chakan. These have obviously, actually, strangely, they've actually one of the highest yields at about 5% compared to heart of the city, which is Boat Club to Koregaon Park to even Nagar Road, which have a yield of about 3 to 3.5%, because capital appreciation has actually also happened quite a bit, whereas rentals have moved, but not as much compared to the capital values. The other market which is actually shown is near the IT belts of Kharadi, including basically parts of your east as well as your west. Actually the east-west corridor also is shown, but I would prefer the west corridor because again, which is closer to the highway. So we say Aound, Baner, and of course parts of Hinjewadi. Now Hinjewadi, because phase 1 is fully established, phase 2 and phase 3 are growing, the rental markets have actually taken quite a bit of uptick in the last 2 or 3 quarters. So I would say I would stick with an Aound Baner in terms of rental and Hinjewadi on the other side, and then I would look at the northern part, which is Talegaon, Chakan, Pimpri area. I think these are the top markets as far as rentals are concerned, in terms of yields for sure, and the ticket size is of course very affordable.
All right, Amit, there's, mentioning the names of areas which sound like sweet poetry to a lot of people wanting to invest in real estate. That's the Pune market that we're talking about over here. Aound, Baner, Hinjewadi, Kharadi, those are the regions where you can expect the best, rental yields. That's the word coming in from Amit. I'm just going to toss this back to Trivita. Trivita, you've just heard all those names. They always figure, right on top of the list of anybody wanting to invest in property. What about Hyderabad? What have you got?
Pardon me, I didn't get your question. Could you
Talk to us
repeat
about
it?
Hyderabad. I mean, Amit just gave us ferreted out a list of areas which are where the best rental yields can be expected going forward. And some of those names are already very famous names. So sweet poetry for those wanting to invest in property. What does Hyderabad have?
Yes, Hyderabad, you definitely have your high-tech city and Gachibowli sitting right on the crown of it. Those two locations are the ones where you definitely can expect a around 4 to 4.5% to 5% of rental yield, which is really good for that city. And also, if you talk about a little far-fetched locations, again on the western part definitely, but on the southwest quadrant along the outer ring road, near the Appa Junction, Narsingi, those locations are also seeing a lot of supply coming in, and those places are getting rented out as well at very good rentals. And yes, they are also seeing a lot of investments happening in those locations. And developers are also going and starting their projects in those locations. So I would talk about Gachibowli, high-tech city, and then going down a little south towards Narsingi and Appa Junction area. So along the, I would say southwest quadrant of the outer ring road, which is connecting the IT hub to the airport. Yes, so those will be the locations for Hyderabad. Yes, there would be another location which is definitely looked at by typically people who have stayed in Hyderabad for long, which is the north and the northern part and the northeast part of Hyderabad, which is mostly has the army areas, but beyond the army areas are seeing a lot of villa developments, a lot of independent house kind of developments, and those are the locations which are relatively affordable than the high-tech city Gachibowli, but will give you a better living option because the kind of pricing over there is far lower than, or the appreciation is not that fast, but definitely you get a very good quality of life because the social infrastructure is in place, the roads are in place, and also you have the entire army areas green patch around you to give you a very good quality of life.
Yes, with the army areas are always the best when it comes to any city, I'm guessing. So, and especially Hyderabad has one, so which is fantastic. But on that note, I'm just going to do one last comparison. The rates when it comes to the city center for housing. Amit, over to you. Quickly, how do those rates compare and why Pune?
Sorry, you'll have to answer.
The city center housing rates, Amit, if you're going to compare that with Pune versus Hyderabad, does Pune still end up being the winner?
Well, you've actually kind of turned the coin now, I think, because Pune is very, very expensive with, people, actually quoting now almost 20,000 rupees a square foot, or close to about 3 to 4 crores or even 5 crores of apartments, with the Trump Towers and all the fancy developments that have actually come up in the heart of or actually in downtown Pune. So clearly, I mean, it's become also the millionaires club effectively, which it wasn't.
Right,
so
Amit.
I can't actually compare that
Okay,
with the rest of
Trivita,
Pune anymore.
Amit gives up on that particular front. I'm sure you can hit the winning run on this particular note over here when it comes to city center housing rates in Hyderabad.
Definitely. Yes. City center in Hyderabad is not as high as Pune, definitely. It's not going up to 5 crores. But yes, if you go to Banjara Hills area, it is a little towards that side. But if you take, you still get a lot of properties within the city, which is within that 1.5, 2 crores or even less than that. So from 80,000 to a crore and a half, or maybe within that price, you can get an apartment in Hyderabad.
Okay, that was easy for Trivita. So again, for one last time.
Definitely the heart of the city has a lot of space yet.
And you have a lot of heart in the city of Hyderabad. That is very, very clear over here. Trivita, for one last time, I'm going to come to you and then come to Amit. Talk to us about the growth over, say, a 5-year horizon in Hyderabad. Your estimation, quickly, last comments.
Yes, the last comment I would say about Hyderabad is that the growth that the city is going to see, definitely the western corridor is going to be strong, followed by the eastern corridor and the northern corridors, because the eastern corridor being, it also has IT hubs which are emerging. So if you see Infosys has about 2 million already operational in the eastern part of the city. The metro line is going to come, which is going to open up a lot of commercial space within the heart of the city. It is going to improve the travel time from the east of the city to west of the city tremendously. In those lines, the part of Hyderabad, I mean, within the city, Hyderabad will see a lot of growth, which is supported by the growth of metro, or supported by the metro lines coming in. Also, the western part of the city will continue to grow strong along the outer ring road. There is the supply pipeline is of course a little weak right now, but is strengthening up because the developers understand, and so the people who have just now are picking up with constructions, and the developers are really quick in that. And I'm sure within 1.5 years they will have a lot of supply in pipeline to take up the demand that city
Give me a percentage number, Trivita, for growth rates in Hyderabad, say over a 5-year horizon. If I were to pick up a house today, 5 years down the line, where would
okay, for me, okay, in 5 years down the line, if you're picking up a house today, would definitely see a comfortably, I would put a 20 to 25%.
20 to 25%. 20 to 25% is what coming from Trivita Roy. So, Amit, now you have the chance to close this debate once and for all. Pune, we know how steady this market is. Talk to us, 5-year horizon. I pick up a house in Pune today. Where would I be 5 years from now?
Well, purely on the ticket size, I think you'd be at least 60 to 70% over your investment value, given that it's a normalized growth of about 8 to 10% per annum. Having said that, because you are getting some very attractive financing schemes like 1090 or 2080, actually your return on equity will be actually even twice as much. So clearly the returns in Pune, I think, are far, far outstripping any other market in the country today.
Absolutely. There is always another twist in the tail when it comes to a debate like this, and Amit just provided one. We thought Trivita hit the winning run, but Amit has taken it to a super over in that sense. But on that note, Trivita Roy, Amit Goenka, thank you so much for joining us here with your perspective. As far as for the audience is concerned, it's a choice between a multi-bagger Hyderabad on one end and a blue chip Pune on the other hand. You're watching India's first property business channel, Magicbricks Now. I'm Krishna Kumar. On to Mumbai then, where the state government is going all out to increase the supply of homes. However, these could come at a price. The government has proposed a hike in FSI, but builders will have to pay a premium to use this FSI. What does this mean for the Mumbai home buyer? My colleague Disha Shah spent the day speaking to developers and market experts, and she gets us this report. Take a look.
The state government has issued a final notification hiking additional development rights and premium charge to mop up more revenue. It has proposed to hike incentive FSI, which is optional for the city's suburbs, from 0.33 to 0.50. Let me tell you that FSI is an indicator of how high a developer can build on a plot, the ratio of the total constructed area to the size of the plot. An important thing to remember here is that once this proposal is out, this additional FSI will come at a cost, and if a developer wants to avail this extra FSI, he has to pay a premium of 60%, which is according to the current ready reckoner rates. And with this proposal, the state government plans to mop up revenue close to 3,000 to 4,000 crore rupees, and the premium received by the developer will be shared equally by the state government and the civic body. Another important thing to remember here is that if this proposal passes, this could also lead to increase in the transfer of development rights certificate. When we spoke to developers, they were quite not happy with this proposal. They said that this will jack up project cost, and the selling rates could also go up, which at the end user will have to pay for. But on the other hand, when we spoke to experts, they believe that this is a very good thing for the city like Mumbai, because extra FSI means a developer will have more area to sell, and if more area to sell, that means more homes for you and me. So we have to wait and watch that what the final notification actually comes out to be.
All right, then let's now get an industry voice on this big story. We have Rohit Poddar, Managing Director of Poddar Developers, joining us here. Rohit, talk to us. The government is proposing to hike the incentive FSI. What exactly is going to be the impact on the Mumbai's real estate market?
The government wants to have housing for all by 2022. And several people in the government are of the opinion that the property prices are unaffordable, and the prices should actually come down across the board. If this is our premise, then the policy is a good policy of increasing the FSI, but any increase in FSI should be linked to market forces as to whether it's affordable or not. If it's not linked to market forces, then it's only an exercise on a piece of paper without having the necessary effect. And in this particular case, it seems to have a vastly negative effect. Now it's 60 basically of a much larger figure. So there's a 6 or 7 time increase basically in the charges. So this is point number 1. So who will ultimately pay for this? The customer, if it's affordable for them to pay. So this is not, of course, in symbiosis with the idea of bringing prices down.
Rohit, but the proposal also says that to avail that extra FSI, developers will have to pay that 60% premium you were talking about. So are developers then willing to pay for it in the first place?
I mean, in theory, everyone likes extra FSI. The question becomes, what are the cost parameters that go up into making your cost of goods or cost of material, or in this case, the cost of an apartment. If the cost of an apartment is more than the selling price of the flat, then no one's going to basically be interested in the scheme. So as things stand today, I don't think that the scheme is going to generate any large revenue whatsoever. So my personal view is that instead of 60%, they should either make it 30%, or they should put a cap or a ceiling zone-wise. They can maybe map out 5 areas of Mumbai and have 5 different zones with 5 caps of maximum price of revenue, which is say 2,000-3,000 rupees a square foot.
Rohit, before I let you go, my colleague Disha was just talking about how this could also lead to increase in the transfer of development rights. You tell us, what impact will this have on the TDR market?
The TDR lobby is having a field day. They think that there's been a home run of home runs, the Diwali of all Diwalis, the bonanza of all bonanzas. And the reason is that they are now linking their TDR prices to the 60% of ready reckoner price. So in many cases, TDR prices have gone up 200-300%. As a consequence of that, in many areas like Bhandup, for example, the input costs are higher than the output costs. So if the selling price is going to be less than the manufacturing cost or your total costs, how will housing stock come into the market and how will prices come down? But basically my view is that whatever schemes are proposed by the government should be practically executable by people who will take the schemes, and the tax net should be as wide as possible. So I would say less is more. The lower the rates of taxes, the lower the rates of revenue expectation, the wider will be the collection.
Rohit Poddar, Managing Director of Poddar Developers, thank you so much for joining us here on Magicbricks Now with your perspectives. And on that note, let's shift focus and head straight to our special series, War of the Cities. And today is the big day. Round 1 of the Smart Cities Challenge just got over. 85 cities of the 98 picked by the centre and state governments have submitted their smart plans to the centre. Who has met the deadline and who hasn't? My colleague Deepa Rana is standing by in New Delhi with all the details. Deepa, tell us, which cities have made the all-important deadline?
The competition has come to an end now, and the cities, 85 cities out of 98 cities have submitted their proposals today. There are about 12 cities that have not submitted the proposal. Tamil Nadu comprises of 12 cities which have sought time from the Urban Development Ministry to submit their proposal of about 12 days. Tamil Nadu will submit a proposal after 12 days due to they are busy because of the Chennai floods that have devastated the state very recently. And let's now come to the cities that have submitted the proposals. There are about 85 cities. Now coming to them, I'll break them. Rajasthan, from Rajasthan we have Kota, Udaipur and Jaipur that have submitted. Then coming to Mumbai. Now Mumbai has Thane, Pune, Amravati, New Mumbai, Greater Mumbai that have submitted the proposal. This is also important because there were some issues in the municipal corporation of Mumbai, and after the intervention of the CM, Mumbai has met the deadline today and they have submitted the proposal. Delhi has submitted the proposal. Also coming to PM Modi's constituency, Varanasi has submitted the proposal. From Gujarat, there is Ahmedabad, Vadodara and 8 more cities that have submitted the proposal. Overall, we have 85 cities who have come and they have submitted proposals. Now what will happen is that the Urban Development Ministry is going to whittle down all of these to 20 smart ones. After a tough competition, they are going to analyze them on criteria like framework, SWOT analysis on basis of citizen participation. It's going to be about 1 month of presentations that these states are going to make in front of the Urban Development Ministry. And we are expecting the Smart 20, the list of Smart 20 to come out somewhere in January 3rd week.
Deepa Rana there with the update on round 1 of the War of the Cities, and we have more in the War of the Cities. We take a look at Prime Minister Modi's constituency, Varanasi's bid to make it to the final list of smart cities. Varanasi has submitted its proposal to the centre, and my colleague Amita Balachandra has the details of Varanasi Municipal Corporation's smart plans. Take a look.
Today we take a look at Narendra Modi's Lok Sabha constituency, Varanasi, and why Varanasi is one of the strongest contenders when compared to the rest of the cities to make it to the top 20 smart city list. Now we of course spoke to the Municipal Commissioner of Varanasi Nagar Nigam, who told us that they are looking at area-based development and they're also looking at pan-city proposal. Now for its area-based development, the key focus area of course is the area near Ganga Ghat, and they're looking to develop over 900 acres of land, and the investment that's gone in is over 900 crore rupees, which is close to what the government is offering at this point in time. That's one. For its pan-city proposal, they're looking at 2 different key focus areas. First of course is that they need to mobilize traffic in the city, and the corporation believes that traffic is one of the biggest problems the city is facing right now. That's one. Second is that they're also looking at solid waste management. This is post Narendra Modi's cleanliness drive in the city itself. But of course, like I mentioned, it is also the strongest contender because it is Mr. Modi's constituency, and it's also got a couple of key focus areas lined up in order to be able to make it to that list. Also remember, Varanasi is rich in culture and heritage, and tourism is another big key focus area here. We also spoke to the commissioner, and they did tell us that they have submitted the plan to the government, although it's not yet up on mygov.in, which is the government's website. But of course, we will have to wait and watch whether this city will be chosen for the top 20 list.
ये कुल 992 एकड़ के लिए है पैन सिटी और एरिया बेस्ड डेवलपमेंट के लिए अलग अलग सिटीजन से इंगेजमेंट कराया गया। और सिटीजन से इंगेजमेंट में लगभग 1,75,000 लोगों ने पार्टिसिपेट किया वाराणसी के प्लान बनाने में। और पैन सिटी के रूप में जो फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी दी गई है वो ट्रैफिक मोबिलिटी को लेकर के दी गई है। सेकेंड प्रायोरिटी सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट को दिया गया है। दूसरा जो पार्ट एरिया बेस्ड डेवलपमेंट में है उसमें रेट्रोफिटिंग के लिए वाराणसी में जा रहे हैं। और रेट्रोफिटिंग में वो एरिया लिया है जो गंगा घाट से एडजॉइनिंग है, और लेते हुए जो मेन पुराना बनारस है उस पुराने बनारस और घाट से सटे हुए जो मंदिरों का इलाका है और घनी आबादी का जो क्षेत्र है वो लगभग 992 एकड़ एरिया बेस्ड डेवलपमेंट के अंतर्गत रेट्रोफिटिंग में लिया गया है। हमारा विजन और गोल उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए हम पूरा प्लान बनाएं तो हमारा जो बनारस शहर है वो धार्मिक एक तरह से कहें कि राजधानी है देश का, और इसमें रिलीजियस प्लस टूरिज्म ये दोनों तरह के आकर्षण हैं। इनको दृष्टिगत रखते हुए और इन आकर्षणों में दो चीज़ें थी हमारी, एक काशी विश्वनाथ गंगा घाट और उनसे लगे मंदिरों का क्षेत्र। तो इस पुराने काशी को रेट्रोफिटिंग में संवारने का, सजाने का और उसके माध्यम से हम इसके धार्मिक महत्व को और पर्यटन के महत्व को और बढ़ाने का प्लान हमने किया है।
Buying a property in Noida and along the Yamuna Expressway is all set to get costlier. The Yamuna Expressway Industrial Development Authority has passed a proposal to hike land allotment rates across residential and commercial segments. My colleague Suyesha Sawant tells us how much this increase is going to be.
That's right. Buying a property in Noida and along Yamuna Expressway will soon become expensive. The authorities that administer Noida and areas along Yamuna Expressway have increased land allotment rates across all categories. The lowest is at 7.8% for industrial plots, and the highest goes up to 33.33% for per square meter for group housing. Greater Noida, however, will see no change as the authority had revised land rates by over 10% in February this year. For Noida, land allotment rates for group housing, residential and institutional properties have gone up by 10.5%, and for the industrial rates have increased by 7.8%. There is no change in the rates for commercial plots in Noida. However, for Yamuna, the areas along Yamuna Expressway, land allotment rates for residential properties have gone up by 12.7%, while that of group housing have gone up by 33.33%. Recreational greens have increased by 13.3%, and allotment rates for industrial and institutional properties remain unchanged in areas along the Yamuna Expressway. This is supposed to start with immediate effect.
With immediate effect, on that note, let's move on then. It was the worst natural disaster in over a decade, and the worst hit city, Chennai, was marooned. Even as life came to a halt in the city, the floods in Chennai had an impact across the country. In the aftermath of the floods, we take a look at what you and I can do to protect ourselves financially when natural disasters strike. Amita Balachandra has this report. Take a look.
It was the worst natural disaster after the tsunami wreaked havoc in 2004. Chennai, which received close to 200 millimeters rainfall during the 2nd December floods, was the worst hit, claiming thousands of homes and lives. Even as several people stood to lose their homes, residents in the city got together to help each other with food, clothing and shelter. In the wake of the devastating floods, insurance companies are flooded with claims. Major companies that operate in the city have received claims of over 500 crore rupees on account of damage to motor vehicles and destructed property. But the bigger task at hand for home buyers is filing and getting their claims settled. Even as claims pour in, several insurers have begun making claims settlement process easier for you. Tata AIG General Insurance, for instance, has started SMS services enabling Chennaiites to file their claims. Several other companies such as Bajaj Allianz General Insurance and SBI General Insurance also have helpline numbers, including setting up a claims team in the affected city. But here's the all-important question. How do you prepare for natural calamities like the one that rocked Chennai? How do you safeguard your property when stuck in a situation this dire?
There are a couple of simple protocols that you need to follow in order to be able to safeguard your property. The first protocol, of course, is a no-brainer. You need to digitize all your documents apart from having originals. Take Chennai floods, for instance. There are a whole bunch of people who have been insured and they've not been able to claim their insurance simply because all their documents are lost, simply because they haven't digitized their documents. So that's the first protocol you need to follow. Second, of course, is to make sure you check the value of your property. Check to see if it is based on market value or if it is based on reinstated value, simply because the amount that you're going to get later on will differ. So make sure you check that. Third, of course, is to buy an adequate cover in the first place. Let's say you have a sum insured which is way lesser than the value of your property. Then after you've claimed your amount, the amount that you're going to receive at the end of the day for your damages will be way lesser. So if you have a higher sum insured, the claim amount is going to be higher. So these are the three things that you need to follow. These are the three protocols. But of course, in order to be able to meet these protocols, you need to have an insurance policy in the first place. So make sure you go buy that adequate insurance policy for your property before it's too late. Amita Balachandra for Magicbricks Now.
And with that, we've completely run out of time here on the show. But remember, if you have any feedback or suggestions for us, write to us on the email IDs flashing on your screens, but also on Twitter and Facebook. So feel free to tweet to us or post your query on our Facebook page. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Also, remember to check out our live streaming website, www.mbnow.in. All of that are flashing on your screens. And with that, we will wrap up this particular edition of the Urban Debate on Magicbricks Now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.